know I love music. And every time I hear something hot, it makes me want to move. It makes me want to have fun. But it's something about this joint right here. This joint right here, it makes me want to...
Good evening. My name is Michelle, and you're watching The Movement. Today we have an author here, a published author, by the name of Cecile Boyd Bullock.
How are you?
Good. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm very excited to be here.
That's
I'm fine,
great.
thank you.
Well, I want to speak to you about your line of books. One of them we're going to talk about in particular is called Grand's Visit to the Stars, A Trip to the Planetarium. Would you like to explain to us what was your inspiration to decide that you wanted to become a writer, a published writer?
When I was 9, my father passed away, and he had a plaque. And I asked my mom if I could have the plaque, and she gave it to me, and I went in the yard, and I read it, and I was totally inspired by it. And it inspired me to write my first poem, if you'd like to hear it.
Absolutely.
Okay. There are times when I sit and stare and wonder to myself, is God up there? Could there be times that I don't know, and little signs that often show that he is indeed inside my heart, and my life he has a part. For some don't believe what they cannot see, but many times he's answered me. For if one would take time to just look around, to see the life that is floating abound, mothers, fathers, sisters, and babies, to take notice why our lives are so filled with maybes. Some people feel locked, almost trapped from within, so they turn to a life filled with lust, filth, and sin. Why do they do it? Most people ask, knowing taking it on would be a tough task. But that's when I remember what Brother Martin had said, to take heed to his words, make them stick in our head, that a day is to come when the hurting subsides, and from within ourselves we won't have to hide. To remember the words in God we trust, for in these days and times this belief is a must.
That was absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what age did you compose this?
I
12 years old?
yeah, yeah.
You were really gifted.
Yeah, yeah. It was a very big inspiration for me. And yeah, thank you.
That's wonderful. And so that's really good that you used this traumatic situation
Yes.
and you turned it around into a positive, and then you received inspiration from it, and look where it's brought you. That's great.
Thank you.
So let me ask you, what made you decide that you wanted to write these books? First of all, before you even answer that, can you explain what these books are about?
Okay. Well, the Grand series is basically grands spending time with their children, their grandchildren,
Right.
documented. The first one I wrote is Grand's Visit the Stars, A Trip to the Planetarium, and it's basically about my grandchildren. Their names are in the book, and it's basically when they come over, and we used to just have so much fun together that I thought that I'd start documenting the times that we shared together.
Right.
And I just realized that as I was writing it, that I'm sure that there's other grandparents out there that would love to, have the opportunity to have their times with their grandchildren documented. So, yeah, I took it from there, basically.
That's a really good idea that you came up with. So this is more or less like a guideline?
Yes, absolutely. It's an edification. Of grandparents, there's some that really are not sure on how to express what they want to say.
Right.
So, yeah.
Is this, in fact, a series?
Yes, the first one, like I said, the second one is Grands Go Camping, and it'll be out next summer. The first book I wrote basically for grandparents.
Okay.
They read it to their children. It's a bedtime story. And the second one is for children that they can read to their grandparents. Yeah, and then the third is they go to Yellowstone and they just have a great time.
Now, in the series, how many books are actually available now?
One.
Okay, which is this, the
yes,
one,
the Grand
Trip to
Visit.
the Planetarium.
Yes.
Okay. In what direction do you see your writing as far as the books are concerned? What direction do you see that heading into?
I believe that when you read the book, you'll see that it has the prospect to become like a Little Bill series or PBS because it's family orientated.
Right.
And that I believe society is missing out on, that, family orientated programs.
You know, Cecile, I really appreciate the fact that you sat down and actually thought about us, as a community. I say us, I mean not just me, or my family, but actually the viewers that are watching as well, because these are things, like you said, that society today is lacking. Your books can also be used as a guide as far as getting back to basics. You told me in a prior conversation. Can you explain that a little more for the people that are watching?
Absolutely. It's basically referring to the lack of respect, I would have to say, that grandparents should have that they don't get anymore. They're not respected the way that they should be.
Okay.
This book is basically going to let the viewers read that
Grandparents and the grandchildren is at a strenuous time, and the lack of, how would I say, the lack of respect and admiration. Because when I was coming up, just as you were saying that the grandparents were like the matriarchs of the family, and
Absolutely.
it's like, nobody really pays them much attention
Absolutely.
anymore.
Absolutely.
And you're just trying to bring that back into the household. Is that what you're trying to say?
Absolutely. I went shopping one day, and the grandmother was there with the grandchild, and the grandchild had no respect whatsoever for the grandmother. She's telling, the child to come, and the kid's like, get out of here, get away from it. And it was just very disrespectful. And it just reminded me, growing up, if I would have said something like that to my grandma, the thought
The thought never even crossed your mind.
And the fact that children find it so easy for the disrespect, it bothered me. So I wrote a book on how they're supposed to talk to their grandparents and how they're supposed to talk to the rest of the family and how to think before they speak and be a blessing for the family, not a cold sore.
That's really good, because sometimes I feel like it really does take a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
And grandparents hold something that even the parents don't hold. As we go higher in roles, from children to adults, adults to parents,
Yes.
parents to grandparents, that we earn a certain level of respect, and we can also teach the young that are coming up as well.
Absolutely.
And I think that if we had more of that, there would be less issues in our communities.
Absolutely. I was, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to catch it, but that was one of the reasons why I wanted to personalize the book, because...
That's what I was about to ask you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If someone purchased the book, would they be able to personalize it?
Absolutely.
And how would they go about doing that as far as the viewers are concerned? Like if they're watching now and they like what we're talking about and they're interested in one of the books and they would like to have it personalized, what would they do?
Okay, well, they can go to my email address, grandparentsfocus@gmail.com.
Okay.
They can leave their name, the ages of the children. As they can probably see, the book is African American, but I can also make it for any, ethnicity. It can be whether it's Philippine or Arabic writing, whatever. Personalize it for them and their children, and personalization, because children they'd rather play a video game than read a book. So if their names are in the book, then they'll be a little more encouraged to pick it up and read it. And it's more personal for them. It's like, this is my book, my name is in it,
Right.
my picture. And yes, well, back to basics. Put the games down and pick up a book.
This is an excellent book. I would like to go to a commercial break.
Okay.
And then we will get back to talking to you about your books and who you are and where you're going. But before we do that, if anyone has like to get in contact with us, you can reach us at themovement205@yahoo.com. I would also like to talk briefly about the NYU Langone Medical Center. For those of you out there watching, if you have autistic children, they're doing a child study at the NYU Child Study Center, and we hope that you and your child might consider participating in their research. The children as well as the parents will be compensated for each visit, and if you have a typically developing child between the ages of 5 and 17 and would like to help by participating in this study, you can please, they would like for you to contact Emma at 646-754-5186, or you can also email her at Stanie01, STANIE01, @nycumc.org. We'll be back after this commercial break. Hi, and we're back. For those of you that are just tuning in with us, you're watching The Movement. My name is Michelle. I am your host for this evening. And I am here interviewing Miss Cecile Bullock, and she's discussing her new book with us.
Yes. This is the book here, Grand's Visit the Stars, A Trip to the Planetarium. This is my granddaughter, Mia. This is my grandson, Kimani. It's my grandson, Sean, Keon, and MJ.
Is there anything else you would like to share with us about your book?
Yes. The fact that it can be personalized.
Okay.
You can, even though my grandchildren's names and everything are here,
Right.
you can put your grandchildren, you can put you.
And your family?
Absolutely.
So if the people that are watching decided that they wanted to purchase a book and also personalize it, what would they do? How would they do that? How would they get in touch with you?
They can go to my email address at grandparentsfocus@gmail.com. They will leave me their name, the ages of their children, their ethnicity,
Okay.
the language that they speak.
Which is very important because everyone doesn't speak English.
Yes, absolutely. And you don't have to have as many grandchildren as I do. You can only have one. I can still personalize it for you. Yeah, and it's a great book.
Where can we find your book?
Well, you can Google it.
Okay.
Okay, you Google Grand's Visit to the Stars, A Trip to the Planetarium.
Okay.
You punch in the author's name, Cecile Boyd Bullock, and it's on Amazon, eBay. You can find it in a couple of places.
Like myself, and I'm really trying to be funny, but in a serious manner. I received a Kindle, so I'm trying to turn over from the paper and hardback to the ebook. Is your book on an ebook
Absolutely.
level as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, so where would they go? Would they go to Amazon?
Yeah, they can. Well, as soon as they Google it,
Yes.
it'll give them a wide variety of places that are selling the book. You can ebook it, or you can purchase it.
But you still have the good old-fashioned hardcover and soft paperback as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So what do you see in your future as far as writing? Are you going to stay just focused on the Grands series, or are you going to go into a different direction?
That's a good question. When I started writing, my first book that I wrote was not the Grand's Visit the Stars series.
What book was that? Well, talk about your first book.
Okay, it's called A Love Story, with a question mark, because it's really no love story at all. But it was that one, and then I also have one, it's What's Wrong with Edna, and Where's Her Prince Charming? And
So you're an accomplished.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And as I was writing those, my grandchildren, my granddaughter actually wanted me to read a book to her, and as I'm reading it, I'm like, wait a minute, I can write this. So I decided to write it, put them in it, and use a couple of experiences that we had to write the book. And if you email me when you want to personalize your book,
Right.
you could also add special events that you may have done with your child, or a birthday or something nice that happened. You can email me the information, and I can get it out.
So
for
what
you.
you're saying is you're really personalizing or trying to make the book fit the family.
Absolutely.
That's a great
Absolutely.
idea.
To basically to bring back to basic, like I was talking before, like I was referring to before, the family, the aura of the family and the foundation, it's cracked. And we just need to get back to the
Back
basics.
to the basics.
Yes, to sitting down with the family and doing things. And if it takes documenting them so that they can have it to read later, then so be it.
That's a great idea. I was even thinking while you're talking to me about how you're doing this, that the grandparents can sit down and take notes and figure out what they want to do, and then
Absolutely.
when they email you, it'll be easier for them to tell you what they want in the book.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is a really great idea. I don't think
Absolutely.
I've heard of this one before. So do you consider yourself a trendsetter?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And it's only just, how can I say, bringing back what was and what should be. Bringing back respect, bringing back saying please and thank you, and, can I, just bringing all of that back, because I do the movies and there's really nothing for the grandchildren.
Right.
My grandchildren are 2, 3, 5, 6, and 12. And there's games, there's really nothing for them family-wise. So I just wanted to focus basically on, just getting back to the basics.
I'm really proud of you, Cecile, and I'm glad that
Thank
you
you.
decided to do this, because as a mother myself, my children play a lot of video games. They watch a lot of TV and movies. And this seems like a really good idea, because it's taking them away from the digital and the electronic, and bringing back the family orientation, setting. And this is really a good idea, and I wish you continued success, because I know that you have not even begun yet as far as writing is concerned.
Thank you.
And I am also looking forward to you, because I heard you mention earlier that this is going to be a series of books.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure we're all going to be looking forward to them as they become available. Now, on your website, do you have like some kind of a timeline when the books will be available, or as they become available, you'll put the information on the website?
This book is available now. Grands Go Camping, which is the next series, won't be out until next summer. But Grands Visit the Stars, they can get that now. Like I said, they can go to my email address, grandparentsfocus@gmail.com, or they can Google it. And another point I wanted to make was, when the children, they also get to be involved, they can say, well, I like this instance that I had with me and my dad, or me and my mom, we went here, or whatever. And then they can do the same thing like the grandparents, and I can personalize a book for them as well, or a special moment, and put it in, so that it's getting them to put down the game and just get creative, and just pick up a pencil and, just write out whatever it is they want, or a special time, that they had with their parents, or maybe a trip that they had to their grandparents' house,
Right.
and they want to personalize it, and they can do the same thing. Email me the information, and I can get it out to them.
And again, I just really think that this is really a wonderful idea, because the children, a lot of the children today, they're so creative and they're so talented, but because they spend so much time
Absolutely.
with the electronics and the videos and the television, that we don't get to see the special qualities that they have.
Absolutely.
And in doing this, it also gets them to start writing and expressing their ideas. This is a
Absolutely.
wonderful idea. And I wish you continued success with your book.
Thank you so much.
And I appreciate you coming on the show, The
Absolutely.
Movement. to come and talk about your book.
I'd love to
And
come
we're looking
back.
forward to you coming back again.
Well, thank you.
So
Thank
when the
you.
next one sets up, you know, and you get it going, we'd like for you to come back so we can actually sit and talk like we're doing now and let everybody know what's going on with
Absolutely.
you and your books.
As far as for the holidays, if they would like to have them personalized, they can email me now the information, and the books can be personalized for Christmas or the holidays.
Okay. One more time, could you just tell them if they are interested in getting your book, how they would go about doing that?
Okay. Well, you can go to grandparentsfocus@gmail.com. You can leave your name, your address. No, not your address. You can leave your name, your age of the children, the race, ethnicity, and I'll definitely get back to you. Or you can Google my book, Grams Visit the Stars, A Trip to the Planetarium by Cecile Boyd Bullock, and you can ebook it, or you can purchase it.
To repeat again one last time, for those that didn't catch on as far as how to get one of the books, how would they contact you in order to make a purchase of one of your books?
Absolutely, thank you. You can email me at grandparentsfocus@gmail.com, or you can Google the book at Grants Visit the Stars, A Trip to the Planetarium, Cecile Boyd Bullock. You can ebook it or purchase it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you for
appreciate you
having me.
having you here.
Thank you.
And we'll be looking forward to having you back.
Thank you.